Hey folks, it's Ray at DCRainmaker.com here, and I've got a quick update for you today, which is that as of right now, if you've got a Wahoo KICKR bike and the latest version of Zwift, you can do steering. Now, up until this point, if you want to do steering on Zwift, you needed the Sterzo Smart, or back about a year ago, you could use your smartphone on the Repack Ridge course. But that didn't expand beyond that one particular mountain bike course. For that, you needed the Elite Sterzo Smart. You can check out my video up there in the corner about it. But the problem there was that essentially you had a case where the most expensive bikes on Zwift, this $3,500 bike, the $3,200 tax bike, the $2,800 or something like that Stages bike, all these bikes couldn't actually do steering. So you had this effectively cheap by comparison, $120 some odd device that could do steering versus your highest end, most fantastic devices out there couldn't actually steer in Zwift. But that changes as of today, starting with the Wahoo KICKR bike. Now, it's really easy to set up. In fact, there's nothing to do. It just automatically works. As long as you're on the latest Wahoo KICKR firmware, which is like a couple months old at this point, it'll work basically straight out of the box. But you do need to make sure you're on the latest Zwift version. As of right this second, the PC and Mac versions are already available, and the iOS version is coming out over the next couple hours. So just be a little bit patient there if it doesn't show up right away. The way you get it to work is to crack open the pairing menu just as you normally would, and you pair your Wahoo KICKR bike just as you normally would. No difference at all there. What will happen though on the left-hand side is that steering icon will automatically illuminate. Unlike in the case of the Sterzo Smart, where you may have seen the pairing options there, this just happens by default. As soon as it sees a KICKR bike, it lights up that icon and you're done. From there, you basically got two options. Do you want to jump into a race or some sort of group event, or do you want to go ahead and just free ride? Now, if you're in a race, steering needs to be turned on for that particular event. And so there are a lot of events out there. I'll link down to a site down below where you can find which events actually have steering enabled for them, because not all of them do. But what we do right here is just simply jump into free ride and I can show you steering. It's really, really simple. So hop on the bike, get it spinning. I've got a camera mounted right here so you can see what's going on. And what you've got is these two buttons. So one right there on the inside, another one right here as well, making sure you can see this. Yep, right there and right here. These are your buttons for going up and down and whatnot. As you can see, there we go, up and down, normal KICKR bike stuff. Back there we go into that mode. And I'll start pedaling. And I'm not going to touch the buttons quite yet, so give it a quick second. And now we can see what happens. I'll go left here first. So I'm just going to tap it once. And there's a person in the way. And since there's a person in the way, I can't actually steer through that person. So it's more about veering than it is steering. So now there's nobody in the way. I'll tap once. There we go. And you can see I'm going around the corner of the person. I'm still in that person's way, or they're in my way, I guess you could say. So now you go a little bit of, you saw that movement a tiny bit there. A little bit more. Now if I just hold it, I'll go all the way across the center line, which is basically the bounds of the road. Because in this veering, the furthest you can go left is that left-hand side there, that center line, and the furthest I can go right is over here to the white line as well. So you can't really go beyond those, but there are advantages. In races, if you take the shortest line, you'll go around people faster. And it applies to Zwift as well. In fact, Zwift Insider has a really detailed article about it showing how you can cut these corners, even on steep mountain passes, and save you a bit of distance there. Okay, so if I just tap lightly once, you'll see it moves me over effectively one lane almost, like a virtual lane. There we go, tap again, tap again, tap again, and now I'm all the way over. And same thing going the other direction, tap once, tap two times, and so on. And it's pretty easy to move around as you see fit here. You can see it's not too crazy. It does seem to have a check though. If I try to make too many back and forth too quickly, it seems to kind of pause for a second, but it doesn't seem problematic. This seems about where I'd expect to be in terms of responsiveness, which is good because I was worried that this implementation would feel clunky on a bike using just buttons. That's all there is to it. This is as simple as it gets. It just works. Okay, that's all there is to know about shifting on the Wahoo KICKR bike. Now you may be asking, what about other bikes? And that's probably going to depend on the bike to Zwift relationship. So in the case of Wattbike, for example, they talked about this past fall that they plan to introduce shifting pretty shortly. They've signed the agreements because there are actually agreements in place that allow these bike manufacturers to integrate into Shift with Zwift. And it's something these companies have been asking for a long time. So obviously Wahoo signed that agreement, and Wattbike, and I'm sure others as well, have either signed it or in the process of signing it, because once one does it, everyone else has to do it as well. Anyways, hope you found this interesting. If so, simply whack that like button at the bottom there, or hit the subscribe button. And if you're looking for more detailed information on the Wahoo KICKR bike, you can check out my full written review, link down below there. With that, have a good one.